Hello, BookTube and AuthorTube. I have a NaNoWriMo writing update, or Preptober update, I guess. So for the past month, I've been working on a variation of the Fates of Chaos, which seeing a merger of two projects, the Fates of Chaos and Scorpius. Over the past week or so, I've not been terribly happy with the direction of that merged project. So I thought about separating the two because I still really want to do a standalone superhero project. And I think while I have been having trouble with naming characters for the Fates of Chaos, I think I've overcome that issue. And namely, I have the habit of wanting to pretty much create all the characters I will ever need. So if there's going to be a cast of thousands, well, I'm going to create that cast of thousands today or in the not too distant future rather than creating them as they are needed. But if I kind of focus on a more limited cast, I think I'm not going to have as much of a headache. Although we shall see. So at this time, I'm divorcing Scorpius from the Fates of Chaos and just focusing on sort of some of my original ideas for the Fates of Chaos. Although I'm still going to be using the plot idea that I've developed, which originally was what I was going to do with the Fates of Chaos anyway. So there's that. I do want to give a little more thought to what I want to do, like plot-wise. I mean, I have the rough idea of it, where it's going, but a bit more detail, a bit more of the reverses and the sub-arcs for the overall story, or the overall arc. Also, I've been thinking, and also I need to do a bit of work on the characters. I think that is definitely one thing I need to work on, especially if I'm going to use other perspectives besides my main protagonist, which I think I probably should do, and then sort of figure out how they fit into the main story and what their own individual stories are within that larger story. So yeah, I'm quite happy with where everything's going. The world building, I'm slowly percolating towards. I'm quite happy, or accreting, making a little pearl of world building. Quite happy with it. So yeah. So I'm looking forward to starting the project come November 1st. Although November is a rather busy month. Obviously there's Thanksgiving coming up at the end of the month, and then there's two birthdays. My birthday's in November, as well as my mom's birthday. So there's that, and of course there's the election, which hopefully I won't have to be waiting in line too long for to vote, because the polling place is actually it's a short walk from where I live, so it would make more sense to actually vote on election day than voting early, because I basically would have to orchestrate a ride to go vote early. So, and I don't know if I will be able to manage that. Anyway, getting back on topic. So yeah, so everything's looking good. There is some problem I might end up having to figure out, and that's, do I actually want to write the Fates of Chaos as a novel or try it as a comic book? I think I've mentioned this a few times on these videos and in others, that I do want to write comic books, or that I do want some of my projects to be written in a comic book format, particularly the ones that I see can be longer, more involved projects. That I see them, Scorpius, The Fates of Chaos, this other one called The Journey, as like more graphic or a more comic book format than I do big novels. So there is that temptation. So I don't know if I can. So if I did decide to write it as a comic book script, if I can actually get away with it for NaNoWriMo. I'm not entirely sure. Which is in part why I think I wanted to start on the project I was beginning at the start of September, the realistic fantasy, steampunk novel. Or it could have been any one of the three. I see that project as being a novel or a longer short work. Excuse me. So I'm not entirely sure whether I want to try The Fates of Chaos as a novel or go ahead and do it as a comic. And yeah, so I'll probably decide on that next week. Is there anything else I want to do? So I did think about like going over the sort of why I'm kind of waffling between doing it as a novel or writing The Fates of Chaos as a novel or writing it as a comic book script. Because there are all sorts of factors. Namely, I do prefer longer works, more involved, stories that can go on for a long time, that have a very sort of I tend to prefer them more as comic books. So I'd much rather read, like, say, Naruto or Fairy Tail or Fullmetal Alchemist or X 1999 to, say, the way of the Stormlight Archive or Malazan Book of the Fallen. And then I do have, for a long series, I have a preference for them to be a comic book or manga format than I do big brick novels. But then again, there's like respectability. I mean, novels are more respectable than comics. They're more expected than comics. Again, I mean, also, they're maybe a bit easier because, I mean, obviously, writing comics, you do need an art team, and I would need an art team. I'm not very good at doing the art myself, particularly the level I would want it to be. So, yeah. So I don't know if I'm going to start it as a novel and see how it goes, or just do it as a comic book script and see if I have how that goes. We'll see. But I'm starting to ramble, so I think I'll go ahead and end it here, and I'll be back tomorrow or next week with another update. And I will see you tomorrow, maybe with some tags, maybe a rambling video, if anything strikes my fancy. And then on Friday will be weekly reads, which so far I'm having a very fantastic reading week again. So definitely switching my focus to history was a very good decision. So until tomorrow, BookTube, thank you. Have a great afternoon. Stay safe. And if you are so able, vote.